Hello everyone, I'm Asena. I'm a PhD student in the Department of Forensic Biology at Ankara University. And today I will present to you effect of OPRM1 RS 510769 single nucleotide polymorphism on impulsivity in opioid and methamphetamine co-users. Let's begin by introducing the main points of my presentation. First, I will provide you some brief information about methamphetamine, heroin, and impulsivity. After that, I will move on to the materials and methods we used in our research. Then we will discuss the results, followed by our discussion and conclusion. Let's start. To begin, amphetamine is a psychoactive substance that produces a sense of euphoria, heightened energy, and attention. Nevertheless, the use of this substance can also result in adverse effects, including anxiety and dysphoria in some individuals, and it can lead to addiction. Amphetamine exerts its effects by inhibiting the reuptake of dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin at the presynaptic level while increasing synaptic dopamine levels. The reinforcing effect is regulated by opioid receptors. The involvement of endogenous opioids in the amphetamine response has been demonstrated by the robust euphoric effects resulting from the combined administration of mu-opioid agonists and psychostimulants. Methamphetamine is a derivative of methamphetamine with an additional methyl group. This additional methyl group allows methamphetamine to penetrate the brain more quickly and be a more potent stimulant than amphetamine. Heroin is a semisynthetic substance that naturally contains opiates and is derived from morphine. An opioid use disorder is characterized by a persistent search for opioid substance, a persistent urge to use, a lack of control in limiting substance intake, and the development of negative emotional um, states when the substance cannot be accessed. Opioid use disorder is a recurrent and chronic disorder that occurs as a result of several factors, including genetic susceptibility, a history of heroin use, mental disorders, and environmental factors. In recent years, there has been increasing evidence of heroin and methamphetamine co-using in the USA and Mexico. The co-use of heroin and methamphetamine increased from 9% to 44% between 2015 and 2019. It's hypothesized that the observed increase may be attributed to a number of factors, namely enhanced accessibility to methamphetamine, a reduction in the cost of methamphetamine products, the limitation of access to heroin and other opioids through the regulation of these substances. Other hypothesis is that individuals use heroin and methamphetamine together because the half-life of heroin is shorter than that of methamphetamine. Other reasons for co-use include the desire to reduce opioid withdrawal, to replace heroin with a cheaper substance, to benefit from the synergistic effects of the two substances, and to avoid death due to overdose. However, studies have demonstrated an increased risk of overdose when methamphetamines are co-used with opioids. Impulsivity is defined by a tendency to act without sufficient consideration, to proclivity for seeking immediate thrills, a sense of haste, impatience, and a pursuit of immediate gratification. In the literature, it's emphasized that impulsivity has numerous facets and that the methodologies employed for its assessment are of significant consequence. However, in studies utilizing disparate measurements techniques, it was observed that the impulsivity of individuals with substance use disorders was higher than that of healthy individuals. The opioid receptor, whose ligand is beta-endorphin, which is encoded by the OPRM1 gene, is the main target of heroin and other opioid analgesics, in addition to its endogenous ligand. Consequently, polymorphisms in the OPRM1 gene are frequently subjected to investigation in studies of addiction. As heroin methamphetamine co-use is becoming increasingly prevalent and substance use disorders are linked to impulsivity, this study aims to investigate the effect of OPRM1 RS69 polymorphism on impulsivity in heroin and methamphetamine co-users. Our study had strict inclusion criteria, which included specific characteristics of the patients. Um, And these are co-use of heroin and methamphetamine, absence of clinically significant comorbid psychiatric illness, absence of medication used for psychiatric illness. We collected 2 milliliters of venous blood from each patient. From there, we began the DNA isolation process. Using PCR, we amplified the gene region that contains our SNP. Um, Then we digested the PCR products using the enzyme SSP1 at 37 centigrade degrees and separated them using agarose electrophoresis. To evaluate the impulsivity levels of patients, we used the Barrett impulsivity scale. On this slide, you can see the results of our agarose electrophoresis. Lane 1 represents the TT genotype, lanes 2 and 4 shows CT genotype, and lane 3 represents the CC genotype. This table presents the sociodemographic characteristics of our sample, our population. As you can see, our population is mostly single and has lower education level, and this is consistent with the literature. The frequencies of the CC, CT, and TT genotypes in our populations are 51.7%, 35.7%, and 6.3% respectively. These frequencies were consistent with the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. When we compared impulsivity levels across genotypes, we found that individuals with the CT genotype exhibited the highest levels of impulsivity compared to the others. And this table is about daily amount of heroin and methamphetamine use and the duration of heroin and methamphetamine use. In 2005, Sample et al. Reported that individuals with high levels of impulsivity used higher doses of methamphetamine in the previous 30 days and posited a relationship between polysubstance use and impulsivity. The present study found no statistically significant difference in the daily amounts of heroin and methamphetamine used by individuals and the duration of use when these variables were compared according to the genotype. In 2011, Dlugos et al. Reported that individuals carrying the polymorphic genotype were less stimulated and felt euphoric by methamphetamine. Therefore, these individuals may use a larger amount of amphetamine for stimulation than individuals carrying the GLL. In the present study, the per-day quantities of heroin and methamphetamine consumed by individuals with the CC genotype were 3 mg and 1 mg respectively, while those with the TT genotype used 1.5 mg of heroin and 1.75 mg of methamphetamine. The findings of the current study indicated that individuals carrying the CLL exhibited higher impulsivity levels than those carrying the TLL. Although higher methamphetamine used among individuals with the TT genotype cannot be explained by impulsivity levels, it can be explained by the fact that individuals needed to use more substance to feel more stimulated. To our knowledge, this study is the first to examine the level of impulsivity at the OPRM1 RS69 polymorphism in heroin and methamphetamine users. The results showed no statistically significant association. However, the results needed to be interpreted with caution given the limited sample size, and further larger studies are needed. Finally, here is our research team. Thank you for your attention.